Welcome everyone for another episode of Black Metal Legends, and it's quite a cool one today because it's Archaon from 1349. We're here in Oslo, and I have his have his old Jackson with me as well, and it's a absolute honor to have Archaon on the channel, man. Nice to thanks so much for being part of the channel. I will apologize in advance. I forgot my normal mic, so we're gonna have to use this little one as well. But I want to start off with asking, when you make riffs, because the way you write riffs is quite unconventional. It's very kind of technical, and but also catchy as well. What kind of goes through your head when you're writing riffs? What kind of things do you think about? And what's your general approach to writing riffs and music?
Well, they kind of go hand in hand with what you say there, because when you're in writing mode, in that creative process, it's so different from just the performing, which is like the majority of time. Writing, I tend to stay away from it for a while after I've done writing a bit, just to get a different perspective, so you don't get stuck in the same patterns, etc. Because, well, what I admire of musical works myself is things that are creative, like are progressive. Even it can be retro music, but still progressive in terms of creativity.
Yeah. Oh.
And then in order to get somewhere newish, I don't think there's much news to it, because I mean, like they like to say, Elvis was the rock and roll star. I don't know about that. I guess you got to give him some credit. I mean, they have Beatles, Rolling Stones, and all these things, that kind of were heavy stuff at some point. Things just keep heavier. And when I got into music, it was... I'm born in 79, so, really it's the 80s that shaped me first with music. And I mean, I even got to say, Michael Jackson made a huge point for me. It mattered a lot for me in the beginning. And then, of course, it was more like the heavy metal thing came in. So, like, all the fucking David Lee Roth, Motley Crue, all the like softer kind of rock, but like heavy rock is what I liked. And then Kiss, and then Iron Maiden, and then of course Metallica. My stepsister came into the picture. Yeah. It was like, you can't listen to those guys with lipsticks. She was like, no, you gotta listen to some real stuff. So she gave me like Slayer, Iron Maiden, and Metallica vinyls, and I remember I looked at them, wow, these guys are gnarly. They are not like the so well. But then it's like much more exciting, and that is like the technical leap that you described earlier. Is like, I guess that was where most of that came. The whole focus on technicality, like when you hear Slayer and Metallica, there's kind of the beauty in the ugly, the whole ambivalence and duality. There is like that. That's where it's what I admire of that kind of music myself. So, in order to crack the code, because I never went to like a proper guitar school or anything. I usually just listen, but I could figure it out because I have a good ear to hear, to sit and listen and figure out where the things are. So I used to do that, and in the younger years you do a lot of that. Then that's like the real good years to shape you, because then you are eager to learn. You're much more eager. You're much more humble in a way, and also you are eager to just learn from those who are there and established. Eventually, it's like when you progress yourself, then it's like to not get caught up in the patterns, the same pattern. Then it's like to have to search for new musical styles. So it's very strange, because like it's the same at the same time. Parallel to that, you have what I was talking about earlier with like softer rock in the 50s, 30s, 50s, 70s, 80s, and just getting more and more extreme, like heavy and Motorhead and Wasp and all the heavy fast stuff, and then comes the death metal, thrash metal, and death metal, and doom metal. I was a lot into. I was much more into doom metal, like when the black metal thing happened in Norway. I was mostly into that. But eventually, what caught my interest with black metal was also quite typical, I guess, the Mistress of Thomas. It's no surprise, probably for most, but there is something about that album that kind of reminds me about Ride Lightning, in terms of both production and the mysticism in that regard. and also Ulver, Bergtatt, the first album there. Those two I remember. Those were the first ones. I was like, wow, this is there's a lot more than meets the eye here every year. So I had to start listening to black metal more carefully, and then I just fell into that too and saw. And since also the genre has evolved so much, you have to kind of you try to develop as a musician at the same time as the genre is developing. It's a lot. There's a lot of exciting movement in the whole music scene. So I suppose that's where like the focus on technicality comes from. At least it's like I admired things that they could do. And one thing is to write a riff, but to make it exciting, like something that I would want to learn myself. When I sit down and study, say Kashmir of Led Zeppelin, or even Nile, Black Seeds of Vengeance. It's like and you try to figure out what they're doing here. It's like tune down to get like and if they use thick gauge strings, it's going to be a bit more difficult. It's all these things you have to figure out. But it's exciting. This is what keeps the passion alive about music too.
Yeah, because that's something that I relate to a lot. Because whenever I'm writing music and stuff, I'm always thinking like, does it excite me? Does it make my heart pump? Does it make my heart race or anything? And do you also find that if you play something and you remember it, that's a better riff? Because then like you get some riffs and you just play, but then you get that one riff, and then if you remember it, that's one of the riffs that you use. Is it the same thing? So basically, you don't forget the good riffs.
No, that's true. And but I'm very worried about falling into the same pattern. So try to stay away. But I capture myself in doing like some of the combos are similar or same, and then try to vary them in some way or the other, even if it's a tiny bit. Just it doesn't have to be revolutionary, but in some way like keep the excitement up.
Yeah, because I remember Shalva speaking about A/B riffs. For example, where you start off with like one part, you start off with the beginning of a riff, and you've got two different endings of the riff. Yeah. And I really like that. Yeah. Because then you've got like the same thing, you've got like slightly different endings and stuff. And if we take like the I Breathe Spears riff, for example, you've got it's like a three-stage loop to the riff, and each one of them has like slightly different endings. And,
you mean the spider riff?
Yeah. Because you've got the first ending, then and all the endings.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a good example on what I was saying earlier. That was at one of my youngest stages, but when I made that riff, I was sitting. You can kind of hear that. Well, I think so now. I got something premature about it. I still like it. I'm not going to like diminish the power of it, but like I can hear exactly what you're saying there. That I'm very focused on. I wanted to fit so much tones into a short and make it a bit difficult and groovy, and emphasize that more than like conventional music theory, I suppose. I don't know much about that because I haven't gone to school of that, but I mean, I guess I understand a bit. and that's, I mean, just like the combinations there, and not to be too repetitive, but in that particular riff, it shines through. Maybe it's just because it's so early and so progressive stuff. I remember Frost liked it a lot, and I was not sure whether he would like it because it's would like the strict back in the early 2000s was a bit more like black metal, death metal, like in the 90s. It was like a bit more separated, but it kind of evaporated with time. That the divide, the whole gape there was kind of wiped out, and that's good.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it's nice to have some death metal influences in the black metal as well, because it adds a different kind of flavor to the play. You've got these like super fast 16 kind of thing. And when it comes to your death metal influences, I believe Carcass was like a big one back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I like their music a lot. I mean, both the Necroticism and the Hard Rock album, I think it's really good works.
Yeah, and
even the Surgical Steel thing, I think was like a nice comeback. I mean, that's a good band. Another is like Entombed, clandestine album. I know most people would hold a finger on left-hand path, I suppose, but and that's a good album too. But again, it's like, I guess, the age gap. If you ask Frost, he would say the left-hand path. I would say Clandestine is my favorite because he's got, again, a bit more technicality, but it's also got that album's got so much atmosphere. Speaking of death metal atmosphere, also got a name Covenant of Morbid Angel.
Oh, yeah.
Which almost got like a Black Metal-ish production too, about it. Some kind of obscure, not lo-fi, but kind of... it's like very different, but it works. It's very powerful. Like the toms of Pete, like very. It's like snappy, but at the same time very powerful.
Yeah, I agree, because I've got that same kind of feeling with Dark Throne's first album, Soulside Journey.
Yeah, exactly.
A whole bunch of atmosphere in there, and it's like got the reverb and stuff, really like drums, and it's just that's one of my favorite Dark Throne releases, for sure, as well. Yeah. And going back to like writing, explain the light switch riff, the light switch writing philosophy.
I'm not particularly sure what
because it's like, because Andre was telling me that you for some of your riffs it was like having a light switch where it's like it's on then it's off, on then off, and I think one of the examples was AOS Aeon or Chasing Dragons,
Yeah,
Yes.
He called it that. I haven't heard the
Okay. So, sure.
Well, that was just like, I don't know a particular philosophy behind that. It was more like, the aggression combined with fast picking, combined with work on both hands, and to make it exciting. I mean, I know how to put. It's just like I try to with Chasing Dragons. I'm particularly thinking about. It's like he's definitely got a bigger acceptance for like the black and death metal fusion, because we always have had the. I think all of us in the band has been inspired by black death and thrash metal to a certain extent. And at a later stage, like when it came to like 2013, 14, or 12, like after Demon Noir, then because that's a bit of a long story too. Like so after Demon Noir, when we started creating Massive Cone of Chaos, it's like we were inspired a lot by 70s rock. Me and Frost mainly. It's like we were exchanging like favorite albums, like Thin Lizzy and Purple, listening to a lot of the stuff that is more like rock orientated. But again, it's really interesting to try to dress the sheep in a new jacket, kind of to put a new cover on the with this make a new outfit for black metal to keep it continuing, because it's got to evolve, and there's nothing wrong in my eyes to find inspiration that keeps it alive. I mean, it's like it's not copying, but it's like applying different perspectives to an already existing genre, and I guess that's what happened with all genres in the end. I mean, I remember many of the death metal bands came up at the end kind of its peak. It's like when they got like considered with social issues, political movements, it's like kind of killed the vibe a little bit for many. At the same time as it's it gave it a kind of stardom shot that one of the bands make them big, but it's at the same time as it's
Totally get it. And then it's interesting that you mentioned Massive Cauldron as well. So like in your own words, how would you say how you write music? How does it compare to the earlier days compared to how you're writing music now for say for like The Wolf and the King, because that just came out as well. So like what kind of like is it still similar thoughts? Is it different ideas? Just how are you approaching it now?
It's always trying to apply new things. I mean, I'm always looking for new angles, in every sound that I perceive. Try when I convert it to music, kind of. I mean, it can be weirdest stuff, that can be that can be utilized as a guitar thing or a music thing. And the bottom line is the same, but it's just like a pool of resources that you apply new things to, kind of with the years, I suppose. I mean, as long as we're all interested in music, and then so it's added to that. Back in the day, with 9, when that band started, it was André and Tjalve and Ravn that got together, and they played in another band. Apparently, this is like a year before I joined. So, and they had a demo out, like as referred. They had a rehearsal tape before that, but then Tor joined for KS Preferred too. He was a good friend of Ravn. So he came down from Gol, where they lived, which is like approximately 3.5 hours from Oslo. So they moved down here, and then with André, when I came into the picture, I was introduced by what is his name again? The drummer from Kolbrand, Mannevon, he called himself. I think, yeah. He introduced me to, because he was supposed to, he knew Tor, he was supposed to meet up with him. So that's how I met Seidemann.
Yep.
When he introduced me to him. And then, it wasn't a plan, but it just happened that we got drunk, and at the end, I was like, sure, I'll come to. I was like, shit, what did I agree to now? The day after, it's like, and they go on Friday. I just went to that audition, just to play them, and then they were like, I welcomed in, and from there on, when you enter a band and you have somebody, that's because the third man was already then, even though it was a full lineup, and Ravn was playing drums and singing at the same time, with variable success, you can say. But I mean, there was a band that was alive, and they had something with a goal and a passion and direction. So it was something that was good to enter, because you're always better with I mean, in my perspective, to have a social input instead of just being in your own universe as a musician. It's always, I mean, you gotta take it for what it's worth. Sometimes you don't like, of course, because it's just a human thing. It's like, it's not comfortable to have criticism at all times. But sometimes it's good. So it's good to get that input, and I mean that goes for all in such a band. And the band kind of functioned, and it functioned more and more with the years. We adjusted. The band proved to be worthy of life for so many years. So and then right when we did that, when I came to the band, and there was Tjalve already, we wrote riffs, mainly me and him being guitarists. But always sometimes with contributions, from others. Frost came with a couple.
Yeah, because Frost wrote the ending of Hellfire. And
yes, he did.
Isn't it the Rider's Riff? The
that one, and the.
Oh, that was Frost as well.
That's Frost.
Oh wow, okay. That's sick.
I remember all these riffs. Yeah. So and then Tjalve wrote on the middle.
And then that was another riff from Chaos Preferred. Yeah.
So there you have them, the combination, and then Ravn had his first riff, and it's so primal. So we all contributed to a certain extent, when it comes to the early stages of the band, which is part of what makes it raw and kind of unpolished, rough in the edges. It's just like really sharp, kind of what I think is a good musical context now is not the same as I mean, it can all be done, but just like to combine riffs, it can sound a bit unpolished in the edges. I mean, you need to have smooth transitions over to to have passages binding riffs together, etc. That's something that you might understand it early, but to learn how to get it good takes a bit of time.
100%. So with the new album, you guys have tuned to E flat tuning, and also in between songs, you change tunings. Because in Inferior Pathways, but just before your solo, it goes into like drop. No, not drop, but like A flat or something. Boom, boom, like really fucking heavy. And you're also using Neural's DSP products now. So question one, why E flat? And question two, what influenced like having these super low sections as well? Yeah.
E flat is easy to answer. And that was Ravn, the vocalist. He wanted to. He asked if I was up for it, and if we with me and the other guys would be okay with going down it, because when with time the work on his throat is a bit more hard, so he requested to go down to E flat to try that. And I wanted to down tune or to play a 7-string for a lot, and just to like get a bit more depth, depth in like a bottom in the whole soundscape,
Yeah.
So great, and it's almost not noticeable. It's like half a note, so it's like it's good. It's like it makes you can barely trace it, but I mean I like it. It's fine. I can tune in E flat and it's the same, but it's like. This tuning in E was the thing from the start, just like very much a black metal thingy to do, to tune in straight E, and not the down tune, because that was death metal.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, separation there. And then you have playing in E. I wanted powerful sound, and without down tuning, it's like how to get that. I was experiencing with the thicker string gauge, like when normal guitar comes, it's 0, 9 to 42.
Yep.
So I increased to 10 to 52 to have like a bit more, bottom, a bit more. So, but to tune in E with such thick strings makes it really tight. And I used to play with like a thick jazz 3-pick.
Yeah.
That's 1 minute. So I did that up until 2010 or so. Then I got tendinitis. So when you stand in rehearsal, all of a sudden once got this sting in here, like when it hits the elbow, just like that inside here. So I dropped the pick. Did again, and then for like third time I couldn't play. I couldn't play anymore. I was like, wow, what happened? I was like, no. I heard about that because as many musicians have that. That's like the big fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a physiotherapist and the doctor checked it with ultrasound. They showed me where it was. Could see it, and I had to just wait it out. For like I got couldn't play for a month. He said, just hold the hand like that and do everything with this hand, and just like to let it heal, to hopefully not come back. But then I went down in the pick thickness, just in order to not have too much strain, because again, it's 10 to 52 strings tuned in E is very hard. So, but that made it a bit more easy. But there's like I had to almost like relearn how to pick, because it's so different with the you can't really use it. It's like a piece of paper so, but at least then I could play. So it's like greater good.
Yeah, that's because that was going to be one of the questions. Like, how did you deal with the tendinitis? And it's a real thing, because like I had a similar thing. So I use like these super sharp picks. It's like the same one Carl Sanders uses in Nile.
Oh yeah. I like the strict the sharpness.
Yeah, and I found like, because I did used to use 52 to 10s, because I remember you did an old video on Guitar World with a red Razorback. Yeah, and I watched that back in the day, and it's not online anymore, and it's so annoying because I used to watch it a lot. And I remember you mentioning 10 to 52s and stuff, so I like put all my guitars in 10 to 52s as well, and I managed to find a way to do it. But then it got to a point where it's like, it's not responding the way I need it to. The guitar's not responding as well. So then that's why I had to like go down a gauge and just like really focus on the finesse of things as opposed to outright power. Because if you're playing like the Sculpture of Flesh, where you're really really digging into the down picks, that takes a lot out of not only your wrist but also like the elbow joint. as well. So it's a very, very important thing for people to really think about their health when they're playing guitar as well, and find what's comfortable, as well as getting that sound as well.
I mean, stretching things are I should be better with it, to be honest. I sometimes do, but often then it's too late. It's when I have pains, then I start stretching. And throughout the tours, I tend to try to get like a routine on it. But, yeah.
Yeah, because I found because what happened when I was living abroad for a while, and I was playing so much guitar that I got like a kind of carpal tunnel right here.
Yeah.
So then what I found really helps, like clenching into your fist and then doing this.
Oh yeah.
Because it stretches out your whole the whole like forearm around, and then that was like super helpful because I found there was so much tension when I wasn't doing that stretch as well. So it's really important, especially like playing. Because my band, we play at 1349 speeds, average BPM 240. Yeah. So you've got to build not only a comfortable technique, but you've also got to really look after yourself when you're doing that, especially for the drummers. Because when drummers are playing that kind of speed, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's going to be properly difficult. And another question when it comes to like the 1349 live show, before you used to have like two guitarists on stage, for a time period, it was like Kellogg, some periods like XII, Destructor. How come, is there like plans to get like another live guitarist involved, or is it just like easier to keep like one guitarist? Like what was like the full thought process to have like a second guitarist? And what's like the, not so much the criteria, but more what influences the decision to have two guitarists for a live show?
Well, we originally had two guitarists with each other, so that was just like the way the band started out having, and that was like a very interesting thing because you can bring things to the table, see how to come, like what you were asking about a bit earlier, with compositions, to when you have like contributions that you could play around with. When you're only one, that's like the downside of it. Then you're only one. So, I mean, it's good to have two. And we had, as you mentioned, we had on Telok. That was for a short amount of time. We just, for some reasons, I like the guy a lot, and we had some fun times. I'm happy that he's in Mayhem. I think that's a good place for him, Because it was a good for. I'm sure it was hopefully a helpful thing on that path, with us. I mean, we saw him first time we toured with Gorgoroth, and he was session for them. So we got to pick up the session from Gorgoroth kind of thing, and tried that. And then after that, we tried with a good friend of mine, Sektaman. And he's an amazing guitarist, and he's a very cool guy. He's an amazing personality, very nice guy, killer guitarist.
Yeah, Ereskigal is one of my favorite bands as well. Yeah. Like holy shit, yeah.
And then you also have Tor Anders, like Destructor, which is, I would say, probably Norway's best extreme metal guitarist.
Definitely up there. Definitely up there. Yeah.
And he. Because I remember him from the old days when I saw him, and he was always like that, like a force on the Destructor. We saw him live from in the 90s. It was incredible to watch live. He had such a unique style. No wonder that he got the Morbid Angel position. I was very happy for him.
Yeah.
But when we had Sektaman, keep in mind that these guys were busy in another band too, so you have to try to work around schedule. So sometimes we could try out, because some have said that they don't want to be a session. Some want to, try out, and but they are already busy. And like Sektaman now, I was going to ask him about the upcoming tour in Europe. I was looking into maybe was thinking about having him joining for the tour, and he was like, he's busy with Emperor because he plays bass there. So I guess sometimes it just kind of collides. Destructor, I think he's got his Nordjävel. I don't know, they're not busy right now, but that's where he has spent his latter years. No, but it's like, and those guys, I like them, and but definitely they might come back. absolutely.
Cool.
But it depends. I mean, it depends on all. Like the budget. I mean, if it's a lot of things that has to be in place for it to work. So,
of course.
and then again, you also have to have time to rehearse with them. And time being of essence, like in everyday life, where people have their own bands, they have different jobs in other lives, and I mean, I just became a father myself, so it's like a lot. It's a lot to.
Yeah, and I think that's something that if people are just getting into music, they forget that playing the music is just 10% of it. 90, you got 45% of that is admin, and then 50 other percent is like the practice, the rehearsing, and the visas and traveling expenses, and like the actual business side of it as well. And it's important to really take that into consideration as well. And it's difficult because it's not like it's not like you have a shop or whatever, like it's in one location. A band is a fluid and moving thing, and it's not ever going to be like it's you can have a band that's constantly progressing, but it's never going to be like a stable thing. There's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be like tough decisions and tough things to discuss. And for some point, maybe some people might want 2 guitarists live or whatever, but it's a case of what's actually realistic for the time for the band. And I think some people forget that as well. And it's a real thing to think about as well. And going back to like guitar playing and stuff, how would you feel about creating or having tab books of 1349 songs?
Well, I've been thinking about that for quite a while. That is an interesting angle, but it's always it's a lot of stuff that has to be cleared in terms of rights. We are bound to a record company, not one record company, but several, because we have back in the day we had Candlelight, which is now I believe owned by Spine Farm, or they sold it again to Universal. I can't remember. It's like. And then we had the indie recordings, and then we have Season of Mist, and then there's rights to be cleared.
So I've noticed by learning a lot of the songs, like if we take Nathikana for example, it's a lot of like left-right jumping around movements, because you've got the and the so is it like a natural thing when you write music that it's kind of like more left to right? And even if we take like in inferior pathways, is that something that you've picked up or noticed yourself, or is it just like a natural thing, or do you just go by feeling?
That's more just like a day feeling. But sometimes you get that melody like there's almost like a vibe. Just like the slaves from Massacre Chaos, it's like it's not something from anywhere, so it's just like something that comes and then I figured to make it a bit more again like interesting. And with Inferior Pathways, you say there, I wanted to create something with like proper attack of the. I knew we wanted an aggressive song for the album, because we didn't have something like we needed one of those in the whole. It's like I usually think about when I write. I think about a song like a dish, like a food dish, with ingredients. That's how I do it. So I think what it needs, what kind of spice it needs for to be complete. And like a melody line, even with the fast the tremolo picking, but it's easy then to hear, to think for the bass. It's almost like you hear an orchestra behind it. It's gotta be out, so it's kind of given what you're going to do on the rhythm guitar in the back. I don't think I made it on the demo. I just played like the main riff, but I had it. So until I went to the studio. It's a vibe thing more than anything.
Totally. Because is it the same situation where, like, say for example, you're at home and you're just riffing around? Is it the case where you find riffs that work well together when you're just playing around? And then you record those.
Yes.
And then sometimes when you record it, you find like, oh, cool. Then I can add this bit and that bit.
But it can be a struggle too. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, it doesn't work. I can't find something. It's like frustrating.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to leave it for a good amount on the worst case. I think that was Atomic Chapel. I had to leave for almost half a year before I could pick it up and finally I found thing to combine. I was like, yes, that's what it's going to be like.
Yes.
But it's like sometimes it's really frustrating to the level that you freak out, you know. So it's a bit of an emotional thing to compose music. I figure at least. So.
Yeah, and like when writing Demon Noir, what was your thought process at the time? Because it's by far the darkest 1349 album. Like, that's the album that got me into your guys. That was my first black metal album, and it still holds. It's a part of me. You know, Demon Noir. What was going through your head at the time? Because it was post Hellfire. Shava left the band, and just explain more of the writing process. Because there's so many cool ideas in that whole album. Because you've got, for example, Atomic Chapel is full of cool ideas. Dan 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 dan. All of these just like out of nowhere tricks and traps in the whole album, and the like super slidey power chord fast riff in When I Was Flesh and Psalm 777, and that one thing like it blew my mind because I've got to show you it. Psalm 77, the where you kind of sweep the and there's just so many interesting and inspiring ideas in there. I just want to just hear it from yourself, like the writing process, how you went about things, just everything really.
I mean, that is a particular album because, as you mentioned, it's like there is a bit of a new there's a threshold there that where the lineup that has been stable since the beginning, pretty much. Since the beginning, everything that's recorded with 39 and released is the same lineup for that period of time. And but it was kind of less and less of Shalva's input. He kind of faded himself away, I suppose. He's more into Pantheon I, what he was doing with them. He was more trying to get into like Opeth, a bit more. Like what do you call it? More
progressive, atmospheric, open sound.
Like a bit more melodic stuff, and a bit more big choirish chords and not so much aggressiveness. So, I mean, from Liberation, where he was like highly active, lesser on Beyond the Apocalypse and lesser on Hellfire.
Yeah.
And they kind of then, so it kind of went out like that. But it wasn't like the band was demotivated anyway. We were motivated, and that's kind of the big thing when you say what was different for that album. It's like I knew, okay, so I'm gonna restart yourself. It's like where are we gonna go now? Because he was also the one that we didn't want much of a death metal influence. He didn't like that as much the more it came. But on Demon Noir, I kind of went full-fledged. I was like, I don't need to hold back on that. The things that I want. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go all brutal here. So it was supposed to be like. Because it was long enough in recording time, but it was like 6 long songs, and then in the end we figured out it's like 6 songs plus 7 interludes in between. I think that was Frost's input, and then we put them in between. I don't know if I would do that today, to be honest. If I could have redone it, I think the cool thing about it is turn it into 13 songs.
Yeah.
So when you put the CD, because back in the CD was, you put that in display, it would come up 13, 49,
13 songs in 49 minutes.
So it was like a cool, there were some neat ideas in there at the time with that media. But in terms of presenting the album, I think it kind of, it wouldn't lack anything if many of those at least were not there. Some of them are cool. I mean, it might be a bit too much of them. Just even small snippets of soundscapes in between songs. They're it's very artistic.
See, I really like it because, like, for me,
I did too. I did
so, like, when it comes to the albums that you were like the majority songwriter for, my favorite albums are Demon Noir and Infernal Pathway.
Okay.
Because everything just flows in beautifully into each other. It's like you put it on and you're there for the whole ride. And it's always exciting. Like, we discussed Demon Noir, but the Infernal Pathway, I feel that I could be wrong, but it feels like there's a lot more of like your heart in the Infernal Pathway when writing some of the songs. Because I've noted, because something that you do really well is write very kind of touching riffs. Like if we take the Nathikana, the it's really kind of like it's still brutal, but it's kind of touching at the same time. And I found like the whole of at least a majority of the Infernal Pathway was like that as well, because you've got Deeper Still, and it just feels like there's more of your heart in that. I could be wrong.
No, I understand what you mean. It's like the melodic lines. It's kind of a good observation, because there's one of that in the new album too. That would be Inferior Pathways. Like bits of that where I was trying to capture on, because I feel that again back to the making ingredients for a dish. It's like not using the same ingredients for every dish. It has to be like some variation in every song. So I usually make for like guitar work. I can write up some templates, maybe only understandable for me. So like a lot of writings, and how this is going to be transcended into that, and try to make a template also in order so I can remember it. And when I rehearse it, and then I record it into my phone.
Okay. Cool.
Old school. Until we sit down, because I don't have a recording facility as for now. So
I see.
Then I go to. I've been to Seideman's place, I've been to Ravn's place, recording demos there. Last 2 albums I've done that. And then, and then because then you can put layers, of course, in Logic or something.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like with The Wolf and the King, there's more kind of like dual guitar works, and very, very independent kind of guitar playing. And it's almost, it reminded me of Emperor. Because with Emperor's playing, you've got 2 guitars playing completely different things. Like if we would take the Lost and Curse of Reverence, for example, you've got Samoth playing like the do 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 do, and Ishan playing the the chords and stuff. So there's a lot of that in there, and I really like that kind of separation of the 2 guitars, but they work so well harmonically and musically as well. And going forward, like New 13-4, I think that's from my perspective as well, that's the kind of thing that I think could really be quite an inspiring thing. If you're writing, say for example, one riff that's a bit more different, and trying to base the whole song having 2 guitars like working together, but everything is kind of different. Just my 2 cents, but I've definitely noticed that there's more kind of individuality with the guitar parts in The Wolf and the King. And going back to like cool kind of melodic touching riffs, it's the song after Inferior Pathways on the album, Inner Portal. Inner Portal, like Inferior Pathways, Inner Portal, they're my favorite songs on the new album. They're really, really fucking cool. We should talk about gear now, because you are with Dean, and I think you're, are you a Jackson artist now? And I remember you like Demoness as well. Like, what's the main guitar brand that you're affiliated with now?
My go-to guitars are Jackson that I currently use, and Demoness. Those are the 2 that I bring on the road now and play. I mean, I love guitars. So, it's like I can play. I mean, Dean, I was turned on to that back in the day with a Norwegian guy that I knew that started Dean in Norway. And he always wanted me to start playing them. And I tried on his advice, and they were really good treating the artists, etc. So I had a good time with them. But then there were some changes in the in the organization there. So I fell out with, or not fell out. A guy disappeared in the Dean apparatus. I don't know if he came back later or apparently at least he was gone for a while. So I just didn't initiate contact with somebody else there. I just kind of because it seemed like there was some turbulence or whatever. So I'll rather withdraw. And then I've been in touch with Dylan from D1S, and he's an extremely well talented guy, building very nice guitars. So he let me try his guitars, and then he built me a really cool guitar.
The CX, isn't it? Your signature shape. Yeah, that was a cool guitar.
And I still love that guitar. It's really, really good. It's powerful as hell.
Yeah.
So the whole new album is, of course, recorded with it. So. And then, but also the Jackson that I have is like a very smooth guitar. So just those two out of personal preference, I'll take them on the road.
Yeah. And what other guitars do you have?
Oh, I got a bunch. I got a Gibson from that I used on the Liberation album, like an old Explorer that I got from my father and his wife and my grandmother. Mm-hmm. They got me that one, like early years. Before that, I got the guitar from my mother. That was the first one I got, but that one I don't have anymore. It's one of those. I have few that I've lost along the way that I really hate. I mean, I would keep many, so it's not good either because like the house or the flat have to fit the guitars somewhere. You know? As in the rehearsal space, I think I have like 20 now.
Awesome!
Yeah. So I have lots of guitars. So I got some sem-80s, like a really nice Japanese guitars, like a couple of Les Pauls that are really nice, and very easy to play. I have some Gibson Les Pauls.
Don't you have a Zemantis as well? A Zemantis guitar? Yeah.
I do not have ESP.
Okay. No. I'm in a similar situation. It's like, where do you put everything? We've got so many guitars now. Where do you put everything? It's like with your guitar, I've got no idea where I'm going to put it. But I had to get it. What's next for 1349? Of course, you've got the tour coming up in Europe. You've got the South American tour. Is there anything that you want to share that's happening in the 1349 camp that you're allowed to share or whatever? Or just like, what's your plans for the future when it comes to 1349? Like,
well, we're touring. We did the US last May last year, and then we did full European tour in October. Then we do Eastern Europe now after Inferno. Then we do Scarborough, like a Forest Festival.
Forest Fest. Yes.
And then we do Vacuum, and we do Full Rewind, which I believe is like the one that came after Witchwood Force in Germany. And then we do South America for the first time ever, which I really look forward to. I've never been there. Can't wait to visit that.
Yeah.
It's going to be something very
awesome.
new. Mm-hmm.